June 22nd, 2008, and this anonymous has a statement. Anonymous?
Hi, I'm Anonymous. Some of you may know me by my raid name, and some of you may know me by my screen name. I'm not going to mention either of those because what I have to say pertains to all Anonymous. Last night, 2 other members of Anonymous and I were chased by Scientology. Not by the whole organization, but by a black SUV, license plate number, license plate number 6, B as in boy, A as in anonymous, N as in Nancy, 993. It's a black Pontiac SUV. Yesterday I was at a flash raid in Hollywood. I parked in a parking lot a couple blocks away, and after the raid, went back to my car. I noticed a guy in the parking lot taking pictures, and I swiftly turned on my heel and walked the other direction back to the protest. Told a couple of nons what happened, and luckily they had taken a cab and were willing to put me in the cab on the way back and drive me to my car after we ate so some heat would be off of the protest site. We couldn't hail a cab in Hollywood. You have to call and wait for one. So we were waiting, got in the cab, and we drove north. We made a left off of Hollywood, drove north, then we made a right, so we were going east. And the Anon in the back seat said, "Hey, there's a car following us." We told the cab driver, the thing every cabbie wants to hear, "Hit it, we're being followed." And he didn't believe us at first, and we're like, dude, we're being followed. We will totally tip you out, which of course we did. And he pulled into a left turn lane where there was an arrow. And he went through just as the arrow turned yellow, and the car that was following us, the black SUV with the license plate I just read off, whizzed through behind us on a red and skidded through. Our cabbie whipped a very intense U-turn and drove us back down the way we had come from. The SUV stopped. He realized we made the tail, but he still followed us. However, our cabbie was just flooring it like bullet. It was freaking awesome. He did all these left turns and zigzags. He got us near where we needed to be. We leapt out, changed clothes, ate, relaxed a little bit, and I went back to the parking lot where I met the parking lot attendants, and I asked them, "Dudes, what was up with the weird guy with the camera taking pictures here?" And because I have the universal solvent femininity, they told me that he'd come in and said, "Oh, I'm looking for friends of mine. They're wearing masks. Which way did they go?" And we didn't know, so, which is nice. Everyone's anonymous. He said, "We don't know what you're talking about." And then the guy offered them money, according to the parking lot attendants, to point out which cars belong to people wearing masks. And they're like, "Dude, we don't know what you're talking about." So then he took out his camera, started taking pictures, which is when I started to go into the parking lot. They told him to bail, that he's not allowed to take pictures because it's private property. He said, "We'll call the cops," and they said, "Okay, we're going to," and he left. He left his car in the lot, though. And I said, "Well, what kind of car was it?" And he said, "Oh, it was a black SUV. Uh-oh. So armed with all that information, I called the Hollywood division of the LAPD. I spoke to Officer Brummer, who was the watch commander for the night. He told me technically nothing illegal had happened, but in fact it was very disturbing to keep records of the situation and make notes of who was with me and that I had spoken to him. I was very clear with him that I was at the anonymous protest and that I felt that I was followed either by a private investigator hired by Scientology or by a Scientologist themselves. And he didn't seem to think my hat was made of tinfoil. So I just would like to know, what kind of church encourages the use of private police and private eyes? What kind of church encourages the use of private police force to harass citizens who are exercising their constitutional rights? What kind of church uses a private police force to chase citizens through the street, photograph their vehicles on private property? What kind of church is afraid of scrutiny? One that has crimes? Scientology, what are your crimes?